Hi, my name is Paul Finch. I'm the chair of your Public Service Bargaining Committee. I'm also the president of the BC General Employees Union. So basically, we're filming this video to talk briefly about the pause in bargaining we took and what to expect with us going back to the table next week, as well as cover off a couple other topics. So I'll dive right into it. We assessed the economic situation across the province. And we also looked at our own internal schedule. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into the administration of running a union representing over 95,000 members across the province. And we have a bunch of duties we have to do there. So obviously, we can't be bargaining continuously. We need to take breaks in order to fulfill those governance and administrative obligations. So we did a bit of that. But the reason for the extended break, primarily, was we wanted to take a bit of a test, sound out where all of you are at, of course, and also where the province is at. And we wanted to give a bit of time to understand where things were going in terms of the trade war, the tariffs, and some of the other factors of economic uncertainty that are influencing the provincial budget, as well as one of the most important drivers of bargaining, which is inflation. So I'll talk a bit about that. So we've seen a recent spike in inflation. In the numbers in February were 2.6% using the BC Consumer Price Index, 12-month average for all items, and it was 3% last month. Now, we expect that to actually moderate and go down a bit based on the low gas prices, and that has to do a bit about how the U.S. is leveraging their strategic position within the oil and gas market. They're the world's largest oil producer, to take on OPEC a bit, and some of the other things they're doing geopolitically, which we're not going to get into in these videos. But one of the reasons why that's really important for us to take into consideration is because if we're looking at inflation, we're really looking at the reduction in the spending power of all of us. And so we want to make sure that our bargaining proposals, our monetary bargaining proposals, are cued into that. So I want to talk a bit about how we're proceeding going into the table. We fully expect the employer to table a monetary offer in the next couple of weeks. We don't know that, but we expect it. We're also going to be prepared to table a monetary offer as well. And so depending on what the employer tables, it'll tell us whether or not it's within the ballpark or the range where we have the ability or the latitude to get a deal. If that falls short of the expectations that you've given us and the mandate you've given us, we're obviously going to have to try and test the employer's mandate or their budget through seeking eventually was a strike vote, or is basically a mandate to be able to take job action to potentially move that monetary mandate issued by the employer. Now that's down the road, that's not immediately. And so you're gonna have a few questions about that. When that comes out, we're gonna talk more about what that looks like. The health of our defense fund, that's our strike fund, where essential services levels are at, what a strike would mean, what job action means. There's other forms of job action, whether it's an overtime ban or other things. Suffice to say, we're not there. And the only reason I raise it is just to say that that's one outcome or possibility if the employer's monetary offer that we expect in the next couple of weeks falls short of your expectations or what we believe is a path towards a deal. So what is a path to a deal? Well, in the light of the recent economic situation, and when I say the recent economic situation, I'm not just talking about tariffs and the trade war and some of the bad news about the provincial budget. I'm also fundamentally talking about the cost of living and the cost of housing here for our membership, because those are of primacy and importance for us. So in light of that situation, we are looking at the mandate that you've provided us, and you provided that to us through surveys, through internal polling, and we're looking at what we need in order to recommend a deal back to the membership. So look, we're not close to that right now, but we're looking to see where those parameters are at, and the recent polling that we're doing, the recent reach outs we're doing, that's all designed to refresh that and to see where people are at right now given the current economic environment and situation. So coming out of that, and this is my commitment to all of you, we're going to constantly measure that. We're not going to do a single snapshot in time when it comes to internal polling or polling of the public. We're going to do that on a continual basis to be in the best possible position we can be. The other thing I want to talk about is this. Negotiations are not simply who has the most skilled negotiators. If they were, I think we'd come out ahead. We've got great negotiators here. Negotiations are about leveraging our collective power to influence decision makers, public opinion, and ultimately to force a settlement or influence a settlement that is acceptable to everyone. And that is something that really is a contract campaign. And so sometimes people think of negotiations as being about the skillfulness of exchanging proposals at a table. That's an important part of this. That's part of the dance. But the reality here is that negotiations fundamentally in the public sector are shaped by public campaigns, by your advocacy and efforts, and by the collective advocacy and efforts, the advertising that we undertake, and also the public interest campaigns that revolve around that. So that's an incredibly important part of how we're approaching everything, and that's fundamental to negotiations. So we're monitoring that closely. We're looking at what we can do, basically going forward in this round of negotiations. We're going to keep you updated. So we're going to make sure that we have weekly communication ongoing. We've done that since the beginning, so that you all know what's going on. There's some online chatter about, are we going to release some of the polling results and some of the survey results and that kind of stuff. We've released those to a limited audience of union activists, but we're not going to tip our hand to the employer. And we're also not going to tip our hand to third parties that maybe don't have our best interest in mind. But we are looking at keenly is developments in the broader public sphere, what's happening with other unions, what's happening potentially with MLAs. We know the leader of the official opposition this morning basically came out and said they want a pay increase for their MLAs. Well, we think a pay increase for MLAs should come with a pay increase for all of you, so all of us. So that being said, that's what we're seeing going into bargaining. We've got a great team. I'm really proud of the work of the entire bargaining team, all the staff assigned, everyone else, and a big thank you to all of you supporting the efforts of your bargaining team. It means a lot, and we're putting a lot of hours in at the table. We're going to make sure that we get a deal that we can bring back to you. Thank you very much.